Who says nice guys can't win, huh? That's a great story from the Indy 500. I believe if the Apostle Paul were alive today, he would be in the sea of people at the racetrack. Paul, throughout all of his epistles, refers to racing, and it's really mostly probably the Olympics and all the sports events they had in Greece at the time. But he was a huge sports fan, and he uses those analogies, racing analogies, to share his message. And it's no different here in his message today. Today the message is, let's meet in the winner's circle. And we're going to take just a look at a really small passage from 2 Timothy 4:7. Now, we believe this is probably near the end of Paul's life. Paul is writing to Timothy, who is trying to spread good news, trying to spread love in the world with his compatriots and himself. And this is what Paul leaves him with. Paul says, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, and I have kept the faith. I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, and I have kept the faith. We're going to kind of talk about that today in light of our own lives. Are we fighting the good fight? Are we finishing the race? And are we keeping the faith? How are we doing that? So in just a couple of hours, 33 cars will head around the track for the 100th running of the Indianapolis 500. They will go around 200 laps on that 2.5-mile oval, and they will do that, and there'll be a variety of flags that come up throughout the race. Green means go, right? Caution means, yellow means caution, and then white means you have one more lap left, and black means come on in, there's danger. And then, of course, when the checkered flag falls, somebody will be the first one to go over that finish line. And something tells me of those 33 cars that are racing today, every one of those team members, every one of those drivers is dreaming of that checkered flag and being the first one over the finish line. The average speed at today's race, 200 miles per hour. 200 miles per hour. The 200-mile-per-hour Indy car was first broken in 1977 by Tom Sneva. Tom Sneva was the first one to go over 200 miles per hour, and now it's just been anybody's game thereafter. There's a writer, his name is Jim Clash. Jim Clash, who is a writer for Fortune magazine, said ever since that time in 1977, he has always had a desire to experience driving 200 miles per hour. Well, as a professional writer, he was able to get into a course and able to move through and finally hit that 200-mile barrier, or cross it. He went to class with Mario Andretti and Skip Barber, and they gave him all the lessons that he needed. They gave him coursework over a number of weeks. This just doesn't happen on the dime. And he said when he was able to finally do this, he said, I lusted for the experience and I wanted to know what it feels like to watch the world flash by at the length of a football field per second in an open cockpit car with your backside just inches from the ground. After taking these classes, he made his way to the track, and the first thing he noticed was how confining the experience is. If you're going to go 200 miles per hour, you have to be safe. So there were 5 seatbelts that they ended up strapping him into. The next thing he noticed is how close the pedals are. Gas pedal, clutch, brake. They're super, super close. So you have to be really clear on where your feet are at all times. The next thing he noticed was the fire retardant, not only the stuff they put on you, but then they put clothing on you, and that too is very hot and confining. Now, if that's not bad enough, you're strapped in on 5 seatbelts, you're all strapped in and you're in this hot fire retardant clothing, then they put the helmet on you. The helmet on you is, of course, for the safety of your head, but when they strap that on, what happens is you can no longer hear and your vision is really limited as well. But then again, when you're going 200 miles per hour, your brain is really pretty limited on how it can take something in anyway. He said the only way that he could think about it was kind of to think about it as a frame in a video game. Because actually what you're looking at, or what your brain is comprehending at what you're looking at, is already gone. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? He noted that small moves have great impact at 200 miles per hour. A tap on the brake, a quick move of the steering wheel, and it could all be over. You don't have a lot of time at 200 miles per hour to consider your options. You have to trust the people around you because you're moving so quickly. He notes that when you come in for a pit stop, the very first thing that happens is somebody puts an umbrella over your head and they try to cool you down. They try to make you as comfortable as can be as they are trying to take care of all your tires and all of the things that they need to do in order for you to be safe. He says you have to put your total trust in that pit crew, in that team. Another element, and he said the utmost importance, is the voice of the man in your ear. The one who sees the larger picture of what's happening on the track, the one who has a clear idea of what's ahead, the one who gives direction, warning, and encouragement. It sounds like this was an amazing adventure for just a regular guy, and I have to tell you, if I were just a bit braver, I think I would like to try it as well. For Paul, and I believe for many of us, life can be like a great race. In fact, the analogy of racing and life is pretty good when you look at it. We too find ourselves in this race called life. And much like those drivers who will be out there today, sometimes we are moving faster than we can think. Sometimes our life is moving in such a direction that we're not pausing to think about what we're doing. We are just racing, racing, racing. Now, none of us are very excited about the big finish and the checkered line, but sometimes we forget that there is a big finish and there is a checkered line, a checkered flag, and that there is indeed a race that will finish someday. So today the question is, how are you running this race called life? Are you going through it with great intention? Are you aware of how little movements might have a great big impact? Are you aware of the flags that are coming at you? You know, just like the racetrack, we have flags in our life. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice if we had a green flag that said, "You're good to go. Go in this direction. That's the best career you can be in. Keep going, keep going." Or else, ooh, caution, yellow, there's an accident up ahead. What about the black flag? What if you could get the black flag that says, oh, you are in danger, there's something going on, and you need to come in right now and be taken care of? Our friend Paul at the first service said, "Carolyn, I'm running green." That's a beautiful image for me because, you know, Paul has had some great challenges with his health and has been in chemotherapy. And today he said, "I'm running green." Love it. Wouldn't it be nice if we could, too, pause and think about what flag we're running on? How about a white flag? Whoa, only one lap left, kids. What are you going to do with the last lap? And then what if we had a checkered flag as well? Well, alas, we don't have those elements in daily life, but what if we kind of do? See, we, like the drivers at the track, do have a few of the same elements. If you don't have one, you need one. Each and every one of us need one of these, a pit crew. A group of people who can help you through the challenges that you are facing in life, the people who will tell you, hey, you need to slow down or you need to speed up or whatever it is, the people who help keep you on track. Everybody in this room needs a pit crew to surround them. Then we also need to listen to the guy in our ear or the lady in our ear. You need to pause and listen for the voice that has a clearer direction than what you have. has a bigger picture than what you have. A voice who sees the whole race and is ready to provide you direction along the way. I love that image of God being the voice in my ear as I am strapped into this thing called life, as I'm going around bend after bend and not really clear of the full picture. The voice that'll be there in the midst of your breakdowns, in the midst of your easy for me to say, spin outs, in the midst of your accidents. That voice is there if you're listening. That voice is there and present. The voice who gets the bigger picture and the better vantage point. Sam, I think it's because I was listening to that music. All of that music takes me back to my race days. And I have to tell you, my condition was probably a little different than it is here this morning when I used to go. I was one of those crazy college students. Remember, we used to build the things and bring in our own furniture? Can you believe that? Can you believe we used to do that and we're alive today? That's amazing to me. Yes. My husband has asked me about my race days as a college student, and I always say, I'm sorry, I can't remember any of it. So, Sam Schmidt, graduated from Pepperdine University, was a very successful businessman, and at the age of 31, his indie career started taking off. He was named Rookie of the Year at the age of 31, which is kind of late for racing. He ran in 3 500s and was kind of the up-and-coming guy. But then in 2000, I think it was a race at Disney World, or at the Disney World track, he had a terrible accident. Do you remember that? He had a terrible accident that rendered him a quadriplegic. For many, this devastating loss would have put us out of the race. Don't you think? I mean, he loved racing, could no longer race, and for many of us it would have been all over, but not for Schmidt. Within 6 months of the accident, he came back and founded Sam Schmidt Motorsports. And do you know that he has had one of the most successful teams in the Indy Lights series, and also does work in the Indy 500 as well? How does he do it? How does he do it? Well, I think he gets the bigger picture, doesn't he? First of all, I think that he has the ability to recognize what he has a passion for, what God has put him on this earth to do, and he is not going to let anything get in his way. He has a love and a passion for racing, and not only has he lived into it, but he has excelled at it, and he has shown others how to be excellent racers. What an amazing gift to all of us. If you listen to him speak, the second thing that you notice that makes him such an amazing guy is he has a pit crew. He has people who support him with the challenges of life that he faces physically. He has people who support him emotionally, mentally, spiritually. He finds a way to refresh and renew his body, mind, and spirit, and doesn't let the limitations lead him. I think he is a wonderful example, to me at least, of what it means to live each day to the fullest. I think he also probably has a gift for listening for that still small voice that rings out above all the noise and the clatter. He has a passion and he has a gift for listening to something beyond himself and his limitations. I give God thanks for Sam and the passion that he has. And I pray that I too can have that kind of tenacity and passion for life as I journey around this track. Today, as we all leave this place, consider the race you're running. Are you running so fast that you can't see what's coming next? And avoiding the passion and what God has put you on life in this world for? Are you one who is running the race in such a way that you are not listening to that still small voice in your head? Where are you on the journey? Is it all green like Paul? Is it caution time? Is it white flag time? Is it checkered time? I have to tell you, I think Paul puts it clearly. We have directions for life. We can fight the good fight or run the good race. We can live our lives to the fullest each and every day in the power of God's love and listen for that still small voice. We can finish the race and keep the faith no matter what. As you leave here today, ponder where you are on the journey. Ponder where you are on the track. Be mindful that indeed, in the end, we will all finish this race, and we can do so with great faith. Now, we've seen people running the track in a variety of different ways today, haven't we? We saw Tom Cruise drive through it. We saw the Indy drivers realize John Rathman, the good guy wins. And then here is another way to consider finishing the race.